one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
You view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, I don't know, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado,
free smoke.
Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much or how you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop a million songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our block, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Well, I tell you what, L, look, I give up, okay? When it comes down to Steph Curry, the light-skinned brother with the green eyes, I finally bow down to him, okay? He is him.
So who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
In sports, there's moments. You know what I'm saying? It's like moments where shit happened and you like, I remember where I was at, what I was doing, when it happened. But sometimes people can miss those moments because you see, so many times I see people watch sports from a biased perspective to where they can't take in the full experience because, oh, I don't like this guy. I want this guy to lose. Or my favorite player is this dude. And because this dude done had battles with this dude, I can't possibly root for this guy. And that's confusing to me when it comes to sports fans, because I cannot understand how you love sports, but you only root for one person. I understand rooting for a team. I even understand rooting for that one person, but not liking the sport in general when anybody else is great at the sport other than your favorite player. It's just a weird thing. Steph Curry just dropped 50 points in a game 7 in which Klay Thompson didn't have much to bring. Jordan Poole ain't never got nothing to bring in that first round. Draymond wasn't spectacular scoring wise, obviously. Wiggins struggled scoring. And Steph said, get on my back and I'm going to take us there. Get on my back and I'm going to get us there. You know, it was probably like a 3-year, 4-year span when LeBron and Steph Curry was playing each other, where instead of just enjoying what was happening, people was so quick to Curry not better than LeBron. He not even on LeBron's level. So quick to try to hate Steph Curry rather than just enjoy the moment. And I said a long time ago, the era of LeBron James is not LeBron KD. It's not LeBron Kobe, because LeBron he never had the battles with Kobe he was supposed to have. This generation has been defined by LeBron James and Stephen Curry. And so many times I see people refuse to give Steph Curry the credit he deserved. So you got the Skip Baylesses of the world, the Max Kellermans of the world, the Rob Parkers of the world, the Nick Wrights of the world. Just so many analysts get on TV and refuse to give Steph Curry. And it's weird with some of these dudes. For Nick Wright, he a LeBron apologist. For Skip Bayless, he just a hater of the highest order. For Rob Parker, he's a coon who don't know what he be talking about most of the time. It's unreal how many people who get paid to talk the sport refuse to just live in the moment and appreciate some of these performances that these dudes put on. These dudes, these men and women go out there, they work their asses off. Not just for your entertainment. And you might think it's just for the money that they collect, but it's clearly not just for that either. And instead of appreciating a game like what Curry just did, the first thing some of these dudes want to do is hate on him. Pick apart the performance. And a performance where Curry go for 50 points, the most points in a game 7 in NBA history. It's a lot of points scored in game 7s with people who don't end up winning them things. But I digress on that. What I would encourage people to do, if you're listening to this, is to live in the moment. Appreciate these athletes. Steve Kerr said that, and I feel Steve Kerr on this, that, Steph Curry not really appreciated. We take him for granted because we see him do this so often. And I agree. Now, I don't take Steph for granted. I absolutely love Steph Curry. That's why I can clearly see the evolution of a Steph Curry. It's no mistake when I say Steph Curry is the best player in the game. Now, I keep saying it's Giannis, but I actually got something on Giannis at the end of the video, or the end of the show. But Steph Curry before was just a shooter. The greatest shooter in the world, but he was still just a shooter. Steph Curry is so much more than just a shooter now. He can get his points any way, anyhow. He know how to get his points. He know how to go sit down and get on a 30-piece easily, even if he struggles shooting that night. Steph Curry has become a complete player. The worst thing about it for opponents is he also a generational player. He was generational before he was a complete player. And now he both. When you go into this series against the Lakers, LeBron may be the higher ranked player historically through their careers, but he ain't the best player in this series. That's Steph Curry. Now, maybe it's just my lack of faith in AD, but I'm not saying AD is the second best player in this series either. That's LeBron James. Now, some people might be saying I'm holding on to the past, but what I also would encourage people to do who listening to me is not be so quick to want to turn the page like Draymond said. And I done alluded to this, and I done said this multiple shows in the past. It's this thing where you're so quick to want to shoo off the legends of today. You did it with Peyton Manning. You did it with Tom Brady. You do it with all the legends because you're ready to just shoo them off. You're ready to get rid of them. But I would beg of you to just calm down and stop being so quick to want to get to the next great thing. And to just appreciate the greatness that is in front of you. Steph Curry and LeBron James is the greatest rivalry I think I have ever seen in sports, especially basketball. When I watched Kobe all those years, he had no equals. When I watched LeBron for the beginning of his dynamic run, he had no equal. When I watched a lot of these other rivalries that you call rivalries, they didn't play enough. You told me Kevin Durant and LeBron was a rivalry, but LeBron was winning that matchup by a landslide. And then Steph Curry came along. And he done been every bit of the equal to LeBron that people try to say he ain't, that people try to give to other people. First it was Kawhi, it was KD, it was Paul George. You try to put every single James Harden. It's always been Wardell, Steph, and Curry. It has always been 30. And now these two juggernauts, these two legends, these two generational talents, generational human beings, born in the same hospital, they meet again. A rivalry renewed. They played multiple times for championships. Curry went 3-1. I had to say it that way because if I had said LeBron's record in that series, you would have thought I was disrespecting the king. But the king and the chef meet once again. Obviously not for a championship this time, but a chance to go represent in the Western Conference semis. Western Conference finals. I'm tripping on my words. One of the greatest rivalries you will ever see. And I understand you can be a Curry fan. You could be a LeBron fan. But what I would implore you to do is just be a fan. You about to get some great basketball. I'm taking the Warriors in this series, but I could care less who wins because I'm a Laker fan, so it's a win-win for me. But just enjoy the series. You keep telling me shit like Game 7 was a legacy game for Steph Curry. What? The man just went into Boston last year in the finals and picked up big body dubs. What are you talking about as a legacy game? Stop watching these games hating on players and just enjoy what they do. You could never do what they doing. Yet instead of just watching it and enjoying and being amazed by these dudes, you decide to hate. I can't understand that. Why waste your time? Just go to sleep. But for the people out there who still listening, for the people out there who still want to be entertained, who still want to be amazed, who still want to have something to talk about the next day, watch these games between Steph Curry and LeBron, the Lakers and the Warriors, and understand you watching two of the greatest players to ever pick up a basketball. Understand you is watching two historic franchises who happen to be the homes currently of two of the greatest players who will ever touch a basketball court. And enjoy what you are watching. I love Steph Curry. I love LeBron. Obviously, I thought I would never love another basketball player or an athlete the way I love Kobe Bryant. And then Steph Curry came along. So obviously I'm rooting for Steph Curry even though I'm a Laker fan because it's what a player make me feel. Plus, just I think the Lakers are, as much as I love the Lakers, I just cannot trust Anthony Davis. I'm sorry. I'm finna say something that you're going to think is wild, but then I would implore you to just go and watch the tapes. I don't say shit that don't make sense or that I haven't seen. My biggest problem is not even the inconsistency of AD. It's the fact that he let Draymond stop him on far too many occasions in big games. And seeing as how Draymond done been the AD stopper for a while now in the playoffs, if AD can't overcome them demons, you're going to have a problem. LeBron can't come into this series jacking up threes like he did in that series against the Grizzlies. The Lakers, as great as they played against the Grizzlies, they do understand all those bad shooting nights that they overcame against the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies had even worse shooting nights. That's going to be tough against the Warriors, seeing as how the Warriors are way better shooters than the Grizzlies. Seeing how the Warriors' best player is not a dude who relying on foul calls getting inside. It's a team that's done been there, done that, not a team that just do a lot of talking. So the Lakers have to understand, and I understand LeBron. I know LeBron. This ain't me saying when I say the Lakers, this excluding LeBron James. But it's a different animal. I don't care what you think you saw against the Kings and the Warriors. The Kings are a far harder team to take out than the Grizzlies, in my opinion. It's a different animal, a different beast. So this is going to be a good series. But I hope the Lakers, others, come prepared. AD, Reeves, D'Angelo Russell. Schroeder. This is a different monster. These ain't dudes who just go out there and talk. These dudes who done went out there and done it and proven it and done it over and over and over again. So I would implore you to get some popcorn if you that type of person. I saw a video of somebody making some popcorn the other day. The shit was amazing. And enjoy this series, man. If you a smoker, get you a blunt. You a drinker, get you a nice drink on the rocks or something. I'm a bourbon guy when I decide to do that. But it's going to be a great series. You got two legendary human beings going at it. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Don't do that legacy talk and all this on the line and that's on the... Just enjoy it. Because LeBron fans can get real toxic. And Curry fans can get real toxic when trying to constantly retort with these... Listen, I'm sorry to LeBron fans for having to single y'all out. There's some LeBron fans out there who I know is not bad. But when you take a step back and you realize the toxicity of a LeBron super fan, my goodness, bro. And I really have never seen a fan quite like the LeBron fan, to be completely honest with you. They are maniacs. They are absolute maniacs. But I want to talk about real quick something that I think is so important to the game of basketball. Because as I was watching Steph Curry and I was watching how he could move so freely around the court, and I was looking at people today like Tim Legler talk about freedom of movement, and I was watching Steve Kerr's interview after the game talk about how, you know, the spacing and stuff like that is what they had to get right. And it just brings me to the thought of the NBA knew exactly what they were doing when they got rid of all that hand checking and shit. And, you know, as much as I hear these older players and some of these doofus LeBron fans continuously come out and say Curry couldn't survive in the era of the hand checking, I would just like to remind everybody that hand checking did not just benefit the smaller guy. Hand checking has legitimately benefited any dude who is a scorer. Point blank, period. Anybody who can go get a bucket has benefited from hand checking being out of the league. Because when you can no longer hand check and you can no longer bump and you can no longer do all the nonsense that you could do back in the day to prevent people from getting the spacing and getting open to get buckets and be able to get buckets in general. Well, now when you get rid of all that crap, it's a more open space on the court. It's more movement being able to happen. It's more freedom of movement being able to happen. It's more space for scorers to get loose. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan could play in today's era where there is no hand checking, there is no bumping, you can't grab me and just hold me, you can't pull me, you can't bump into me on purpose, you can't run into me to knock me off my course. You have to give people ballers and handlers of the ball and the shooters, you got to give them the space to land. It's so many things that would have benefited MJ in today's era that I'm so baffled by why the old dudes refuse to, like, I don't understand why that's something they bring up every time we talk about the day's legends. Like, oh, well, they couldn't have survived in the hand checking era. Who give a damn? The hand checking era should have never existed. It's like when I see people talk about wrestling, they say ECW, the greatest product of all time. How? Going crazy with a bunch of weapons, cutting people up and shit is not wrestling. It's a bunch of buffoonery. Listen, don't confuse a form of entertainment with what the purity of a product actually is. Just because you call this shit wrestling don't mean it's wrestling. So I'm dropping bombs on y'all tonight, bro. I'm just telling you. But I'm not a fan of the old people who constantly, use that shit as a thing. You should be happy hand checking is out of the league because look at what dudes can do now. I'm just saying. Dudes is allowed to show their skill set now. Dudes is allowed to show the complete offensive repertoire because dudes ain't allowed to just hand check and do all that nonsense. I think it's way better for the league. But now I want to talk about this Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets, man. But this is a very interesting series because I picked the Nuggets to win this series. I know I didn't come on here and say it, but I did pick the Nuggets to win it. But I didn't allude to, if you listen to me, you already know why I picked the Nuggets to win it. I done said it multiple times. I just don't know how Phoenix beat a team like these last couple teams that's in the playoffs. These teams have way better benches than Phoenix. And to be quite frank, every starting five left in the NBA's in the West is better than Phoenix starting five. Chris Paul got hurt tonight. They got mollywopped the first game. They got beat by like 10 this game. Jokic didn't even have a great game the first game. Jamal Murray went for 30 plus. Jokic balled out and went for 39 tonight. Like, here's the thing. Jokic can struggle. Murray can struggle. And they can still beat the Suns. Not only with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, not only do they need to play the entirety of a game to have a chance of winning, they both basically got to go for 40 points. And with Kevin Durant being a primary ball handler at times for the Suns, having to do way too much at times, I'm starting to realize Kevin Durant, you should want him more so to be your... If you don't have a player on your team, Kevin Durant got to be your, not necessarily your second best player, but if you employ him as anything more than a scorer of the basketball, a mercenary basically, things can get a little bit dicey, like when he had to do everything for Brooklyn. That's why it worked so great in Golden State. He never had to be anything other than just a scorer, and it worked out perfect. With Phoenix, man, who do they have that's a reliable? I don't understand why Terrence Ross don't get no playing time coming off of the bench for Phoenix, but Cameron Payne do. Now, I understand Cam Payne done been on the team since Monty Williams been there. I get all that. But why in God's name as a head coach would you have him getting playing time just because he been there over Terrence Ross, who is a better player and points that you could use in this series? Because this is my biggest problem with Phoenix. It's not about what Devin Booker or Kevin Durant can't do. It's about what they can't do compared to what the Nuggets can do. You see, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker can give you 40 points apiece. Hell, let's say they both give you 50 in one game and give you 100 points, right? Well, now I need the others to give me at least 20 points. And the reality is they could fail to do that at times. Because the Denver Nuggets don't need 50 from two dudes. Because they got so many weapons on this team. I can see the Nuggets letting Kevin Durant and Devin Booker go for 50 apiece and still winning by 20 points. Because Michael Porter can go get you 30 or 25. Jamal Murray can go get you 40 or 35. Yoke can go get you 40 or 35 and add rebounds to it. And something that's very important is happening right now with the Nuggets. Jokic is playing defense. I didn't say he's being great at it, but he's trying on defense. And that's a whole different animal when you got a player that's starting to realize, if I sacrifice my body and my energy for this moment to get this stop, I might pay for it on the other end. It might not take me 3 shots to get 1 bucket because the energy I'm exerting on the back end on defense. But this is how you get over that hump and win championships. This is how you get over that hump and put yourself in a position to play for championships. That extra effort that you're willing to give make all the difference. And so I'm happy to see Jokic making an attempt on defense. It's a great sight. It's a very good sight. But you got KCP. You got Michael Porter. You got Bowen or Brown. My apologies. You got Yoke. You got Murray. You got so many different dudes on this team that can go get a bucket for the Nuggets. It's impossible for me. Just my basketball logic of all the basketball I done watched in my lifetime. It would make absolutely no sense to me that Denver would lose this series. If Denver lost this series, it would be more embarrassing than if they had lost that first series, even though I had given them no shot at losing that first series. I think I give them a bigger shot at winning this series than I gave them winning that last series. Because if Minnesota had found out how to get all of their players involved, they had a chance. The Suns just don't have enough. They don't have enough reliable players. I'm looking at some of these dudes shoot up shots, and it's just like, my goodness. You got to hope that they get 4 good games out of these dudes. Kevin Durant don't look great. People keep telling me every year you can't defend KD, and every year in the playoffs, I see teams find a way to defend Kevin Durant. You took Steph Curry for granted. You kept telling me that Kevin Durant made Curry better. I kept telling you that's not the case. And now you're seeing it. You just don't want to accept it. But that's okay. I told you. It was a reality where the Suns just gave up too much. They did not need to pull off a New York Knicks, Denver Nuggets for Carmelo trade where you just deplete all the assets out of the cupboard. Man, they did that to the umpteenth degree. Could you imagine what a Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges would be right now if you had to just found a way to keep one of those dudes? I don't know how the Suns get this dub. I don't know how the Suns get any dub in this series other than, man, the energy in this arena is going to be crazy in Phoenix and the Denver Nuggets is just struggling. Because the Denver Nuggets is ultra talented compared to the Phoenix Suns roster that they could go through a game of low points and still find a way to get it done. I don't look at I don't look at Kevin Durant the way I look at Steph Curry and LeBron James. So this situation going to be a little bit tougher. I don't know if he's going to be able to raise his level of play and everybody around him. I've never looked at Kevin Durant as a dude who make people around him better. More so, if you got him, you got a chance because of what he can do, not because of what he do for everybody else. So it's going to be an interesting series because I just think, and for the life of me, why is Terrence Ross on the bench? How are you not finding minutes for this dude? I don't understand it. And I don't see how Denver lose this series. But now I want to get to the 76ers Boston series because you see the 76ers got a big body dub tonight. Me and my cousin watched this game. I was going for the Sixers because as a Laker fan, I will never be rooting for Boston. I done pick Boston to win series just because basketball knowledge, but I never root for them in any series they play in. I will forever root against the Boston Celtics as a Laker fan. It is what it is. And I told my cousin, around 50 seconds left in this game, after Jason Tatum them had hit some free throws and the Sixers was down like 1 point, I said, yeah, we winning this game. I had already told them we was winning the game, but as soon as something had happened in that fourth quarter, I was just like, yeah, we definitely winning. And James Harden dotted them pussies right between the eye, just like my boy Trae Young did. And it was easier for James because somehow they switched Al Horford on him. And as soon as they did that, I said, oh, this is a bucket. And my cousin can tell you, as soon as the switch happened and it was Al Horford, I said, oh, this is a bucket. It's a bucket. This Houston James Harden for just a mere second. This is a bucket. Anytime you put a big man, has Rudy Gobert getting sauced up not taught y'all? DeAndre Jordan on the perimeter getting cooked not shown y'all. These big dudes don't belong out there with these guards. Stop doing it. You might think, oh, they tall, so the guard can't see. They can't move laterally and horizontally fast enough for these guards not to get clean shots off. A clean shot to you is not a clean shot to them. They got dirty looking shots as clean shots to them, and you would never take the shot. To them, it's open before even a mere second because of the level of greatness they are. And James Harden dotted them pussies right between the eye. The whole game I kept saying, this is a game that they have to take. Don't matter how good Jason Tatum playing in the first half of this game. I told my cousin he won't keep it up. And they play as good as he playing right now. It's a 2-point lead going into the half or a 3-point lead. I think after the first quarter, Boston had only missed like 2 shots. Didn't matter. Houston, I keep saying Houston. The 76ers was still in the game. No Joel Embiid. The only time it got dicey for the 76ers was towards the end. And Tyrese Maxey, this is my problem with young dudes. See, it's at times young dudes start having a good little game, and they don't realize that you don't have to be the hero, bruh. You can still play fundamental basketball and be great. Tyrese Maxey missing all type of jump shots in the third and fourth quarter, damn near costing his team instead of driving the ball. He cut off half the court at a certain point in time in the game because he refused to go play team ball and just kept jacking up dumbass shots. You're hitting layups and floaters, but you missing all your jump shots, but you refuse to take the ball inside late in this game. That's when I knew Boston lost the game. Because once they got past that Tyrese Maxey phase where somehow James Harden kept them afloat because he was hitting shots while Tyrese Maxey was missing shots and turning the ball. But see, Boston started to turn the ball over. The game got too fast for Jaylen Brown. He only shot 3 shots in the second half. He started to turn the ball over. You see different plays when the Celtics on offense and Jason Tatum just standing in the corner, not even making himself a target, not making himself a threat to the opposing team's defense. Unlike a Steph Curry who constantly moving around the court. Jason Tatum just sitting in the corner waiting to get back on offense. Things like that will cost you. And somehow, and this was a big legacy game for James Harden. Now, you talking about legacy games. This is a legacy game. James Harden, no Joel Embiid, on the road in Boston. You have to steal one of these games because if you steal this game, Joel Embiid don't have to play next game. Because Joel Embiid definitely ain't playing next game because they stole this game. What a performance by James Harden. I would sit Tyrese Maxey down and tell him like, bruh, the end of this game, you were horrendous. You could have cost us the end of this game if not for the brilliance of James Harden. You have to be better in these moments. Just because you want a heater don't mean you got to take every shot that you think is available. They started giving you space on purpose because you was just launching and missing shots. And you was missing them worse and worse. Not only was you missing shots, you was starting to take bad shots like contested shots or shots where you moving and falling away or leaning forward. Like, what are you doing? Like, bro, it's other people on this team. Not only that, the reason we in this game ain't just because of you. And the reason we competing right now is because of Harden. So just because we pass you the ball don't mean that you got to be the one to take the shot. Tyrese Maxey put blinders on and became so one-dimensional and came so blinded by trying to get his bucket, trying to be the hero, trying to hit the shot. Bruh, get everybody else involved. Keep the ball moving. Don't become a black hole and a ball stopper. Because without James Harden's big game in the fourth quarter and in the second half, really, the 76ers lose this game. If it's not for this big buckets by James Harden, him continuously getting the team back on rhythm. Maxey kept making this pick and roll play and not passing it to the roller. Like, he had a decent game. I imagine his plus minus is in the negatives, but he got to be better next game. However, this was a great win by the 76ers to steal this game on the road. And it's like I done said about Boston so many times, bro. The fact that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown has still not figured out how to dominate a game at the same time is a problem. It's always Jason Tatum got one quarter, then Jaylen Brown got the next quarter. It's never both of them go for 15 or 10 plus points in the same quarter, the whole game. And as long as they figure, and as long as that's the way they play, they will continue to get this type of result. It just is what it is. I do believe that they can win this series. I'm not picking them. I am picking them to win this series, I think, actually. Because I don't know if Joel Embiid will play. If Joel Embiid missed 3 games in this series, let's say he missed the next 3 games, regardless of them winning this game. Let's say he missed the first game. He missed the first game in Philly. Boston probably going to win the next 2 games, meaning they would have stolen home court right back. So it's hard to pick some of these series when the players is not playing. You know what I'm saying? Which brings me to the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat series. Now, I know I told you I picked the last series. I picked the Heat I picked the Heat after Giannis got hurt because there's no shot I was going to pick the Bucks with no superstar compared to Jimmy Butler and the Heat. Well, it's a little bit different this series. You see, Jimmy and them boys did win the first game, but I think I'm actually taking the Knicks to win this series because the Knicks just are a better all-around team. I think the Bucks rely too heavily off of Giannis to be great. So it's tough for me to pick the Milwaukee Bucks. I wasn't impressed when they was winning games without Giannis because I still said to myself, yeah, you can do that 1 or 2 times, but yeah, you need Giannis. And when Jimmy got on a roll, I was like, yeah, now it's no shot you got because now that Jimmy on a heater, this is exactly what I expected. It's a little bit different. I don't think New York rely on one dude to get everybody going. However, with the Julius Randle injury, I'm concerned. Jimmy Butler hurt his ankle at the end of game 1. I'm concerned. It's a tough series to pick because if both teams was fully healthy see, Tyler Hero also hurt. And that's the biggest reason it's hard for me to pick Miami because I love Jimmy Butler. But if the Knicks solely relied on Jalen Brunson, say the Knicks don't get Julius Randle back, then I'm taking the Heat because I'm not taking Jalen Brunson over Jimmy Butler. It's no shot. But let's say they get they get Julius Randle back. Because Julius Randle take a lot of heat, but I'm certain y'all don't watch ball because a lot of what the Knicks do is relying on Julius Randle being the best or second best player on that team on any given night. So I'm confused. And you can make an argument Julius Randle not playing in this game was a huge reason as to why they lost because they lost by like 4 or 5 points. Julius Randle good for at least 17 plus. So, yeah, I'm confused by the constant Julius Randle slander. But this is a tough series to pick because I'm just confused as to who all playing and whatnot. If Jimmy going to be hurt and hampered the rest of this series. I can give you a more definitive pick probably after tomorrow night's game. Yeah, that's a tough series to pick. But with that being said, like I said before, don't be so quick to turn the page on these legendary rivalries that we're getting to see. Enjoy this Lakers and Warriors series, along with all these other series, man. James Harden had a legendary performance tonight. You got to go check that out. This is going to be a lot of great basketball happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.